different worlds, drawn to each other like magnets.
The Flash movie arrived carrying years of anticipation, shifting plans, and enormous expectations, becoming one of the most talked-about superhero releases in recent memory. It represents a turning point for the cinematic universe it belongs to, not just because of its scale, but because of what it attempted to do with legacy, continuity, and the idea of time itself. From the earliest stages, the film went through multiple creative changes, delays, and tonal reworks, which shaped it into a project that feels like both a celebration of superhero cinema and a reflection on how complicated, long-running franchises can become. By the time audiences finally experienced it, the movie already carried a heavy cultural weight that influenced how it was received. At its core, the film focuses on speed, consequences, and personal loss, using science fiction ideas to explore emotional themes rather than just spectacle. Instead of functioning purely as a fast-paced action film, it leans heavily into the idea that altering past choices comes with a cost. The story treats time as fragile and unpredictable, showing how even small changes can ripple outward and reshape entire realities. This approach gave the movie a more introspective tone compared to many traditional superhero films, emphasizing regret, responsibility, and acceptance rather than simple victory. One of the most discussed aspects surrounding the movie was its complicated journey behind the scenes. Over several years, different creative directions were explored before settling on a final vision. Each shift left traces in the finished product, which some viewers interpreted as ambitious and layered, while others felt it made the film uneven. Still, the persistence to complete the project became part of its identity. The film almost feels like a miracle of completion, standing as proof of how challenging large-scale studio filmmaking can be when creative goals, corporate decisions, and public expectations collide visually. The movie pushed boundaries in ways that sparked debate. The use of stylized effects, especially during moments involving speed and alternate realities, divided audiences. Some appreciated the surreal, almost comic book-like presentation, arguing that it matched the story's abstract ideas. Others felt the visuals were inconsistent and distracting. Regardless of opinion, the film undeniably took risks rather than playing it safe, choosing a distinct visual language that made it instantly recognizable and heavily discussed across fan communities. Another major talking point was the film's connection to the broader superhero legacy. It functions as a kind of crossroads, bringing together different eras and interpretations of familiar ideas without fully committing to nostalgia alone. Instead of simply revisiting the past for comfort, the movie uses legacy elements to comment on change and closure. This approach made it emotionally powerful for some viewers, especially those who have followed superhero films for decades, while others felt the reliance on past imagery overshadowed the present story. Public conversation around the movie was also influenced by off-screen controversies that followed the project for a long time. These issues created a complicated relationship between the audience and the film, with some separating the art from the artist and others struggling to do so. This context affected marketing, press discussions, and ultimately how people chose to engage with the movie. Even so, many critics and fans attempted to judge the film on its own merits, focusing on its themes and execution rather than external factors. When it reached theaters, reactions were mixed but passionate. Some praised its emotional ambition, humor, and willingness to embrace weird science fiction concepts. Others criticized its pacing and tonal shifts, feeling that the film tried to do too much at once. Instead of a universally loved blockbuster, it became a conversation piece, inspiring long discussions, rewatches, and debates about what superhero movies should be at this stage of the genre's evolution. Financially, the movie's performance became another major subject of discussion. Expectations were extremely high, and the results sparked analysis about changing audience habits, franchise fatigue, and the impact of long delays. Rather than being viewed in isolation, its performance was often used as a case study for the future of big shared universes. Studios and fans alike looked at it as a signal that even recognizable characters and massive budgets no longer guarantee overwhelming success beyond numbers and reviews. The film's lasting impact may lie in how it closed certain doors while opening others. It feels like a farewell to one era of storytelling, acknowledging past continuity before allowing space for something new to emerge. This sense of transition gives the movie a unique emotional weight, almost like a goodbye letter to a version of the universe that shaped a generation of superhero fans. The Flash movie ultimately stands as a bold, flawed, and fascinating experiment. It tried to balance heart, humor, spectacle, and legacy while navigating real-world complications few films face. Whether viewers loved it or not, it succeeded in being memorable and meaningful within the larger conversation about superhero cinema. Its true legacy may not be defined by numbers or rankings, but by how it captured a moment of change, uncertainty, and reflection in a genre that continues to reinvent itself.